Right now we are in Vegas, Las Vegas, Nevada. I came back here actually July 2nd, 4 weeks before Tampa Pro when I was competing there. And then, I mean, obviously Mark's here, so I'm staying with him. I've been here the past 8 months and I'm not going home for now. So we're gonna be doing Tampa Pro again in August, and then Olympia is gonna be in October. It's actually on my birthday this year, which is cool. At the end of the day, my goal is to be Miss Bikini Olympia. So to say that out loud, I had never said that out loud until before this year's Olympia, because it almost seemed like, I felt almost as if I wasn't worthy of it, and I doubted myself. And I was like, people are gonna think I'm crazy for saying that. They're gonna look at me like, who, you? Like, you know, we always get in our own heads. And I think that comes from me as a child. You know, I kind of was always self-conscious of how I looked. So if you're telling yourself that like you can't win, and then you think that you're gonna go on stage and win, like if you don't believe yourself that you can win, how are you gonna go on stage and convince a panel of judges that you can win?
Yeah.
If you don't even believe it deep down, it's gonna show on your face, it shows in your body movements and everything. With anything in life, you can try and fake it till you make it, but if like not even 1% of you believes it, there's no way you can fake it.
How do you gain that confidence? How do you go from an overweight girl who didn't feel comfortable in her own skin to knowing that you can be number one in the world? Like, you know it and you believe it.
That's crazy when you say it out loud like that. It's like, I think it definitely is not like an overnight thing. I think it's like, it's a constant journey of like you growing into the person that you're supposed to be and that you believe you can be. So, I mean, when I first started working out and I started seeing myself, my body change and being happy with the results, it's almost like, oh wow, like, you know, I actually look good. And like feeling good in your skin is the best feeling when you're, you know, when you're self-conscious, you feel like you want to hide all the time, versus when you feel good in your skin, it's just such an empowering feeling to be like, you know, for us with bodybuilding, we do the work to look like that. We don't just wake up and look like that. So I know that like I'm in charge of how I look, how I feel. Everything that I do every day is gonna, you know, either bring me closer to where I want to be, or it's gonna bring me further back. Olympia, my goal was top 3 because I wanted to have like a realistic goal for myself. And then about a few weeks before, I said, you know what, like screw top 3. I'm not aiming for top 3. I feel like that's me underestimating myself and not really. If you say you're only going for top 3, you're only going to work as hard to get to that 3rd place spot. Versus if you say I'm going for 1st place, you're not going to leave anything like no stone unturned, because you know you need that 1st place spot. You put it out there, people are looking at you to see if you're going to meet those goals. So I said, you know what, I'm not going for top 3 anymore, guys. I'm going for 1st place. This year, 2nd place was crazy to me. Even though I said I was going for 1st place, I think I almost didn't really believe it in my head. So to be 2nd place was still so surreal to me, you know, like, because when I think of someone else being 2nd place, I'm like, holy shit, like 2nd place in the world at the Olympia, that's crazy. But almost for myself, I feel like I downplayed a little bit because I'm like hard on myself. But yeah, looking back on it, I'm super proud of myself because I know how hard I worked. My main goal, I would say, going into this year's Olympia and this year's shows, not so much focusing on my body, because I feel like my body is kind of where I need to be, and that's the feedback I've gotten. More so on my mind. So mentally being like, you're worthy of winning. You are just as worthy of anyone else, because it's hard to truly believe in your own potential. It's so easy for us to look at someone else and be like, oh, you know, so-and-so, they could win, they look incredible. But it's so hard to look inside yourself and feel that same way. So for me, that's kind of my goal this year, is just to believe in myself, and as much as I can believe in other people. And just think, you know, if I give 100%, I'm working just as hard as this person and this person, you know, why not me? So I would definitely encourage everyone else to have that same attitude, because I feel we're all our own worst critics. We doubt ourselves. So if you really look into it and say, am I doing everything I need to do every single day to be the best possible me? And if you are, then everything else is left up to everything else in the universe. So you just gotta do your part and, you know, let the stars align. So we'll see what happens. Being Miss Bikini Olympia is those are huge like shoes to fill. So I think that you do have a responsibility to everyone else who's looking up to, you know, NPC competitors, IFBB Pro League competitors, and your sport as a whole, to kind of, you know, set a good example for everyone. Be a professional at all times, because as much as, you know, it's a sport and it's a community, you are still a professional in the sport. So you have to be able to lose with the same, you know, grace and humility that you can win with, because you can't be a sore loser and then you're a happy winner. You got to be able to lose the same way that you win. Angelica's an amazing example of that because I've always looked up to her. She's an incredible human being. She's super down to earth, super humble. She knows how to make everyone feel like they're someone special. And for me at my first Olympia, I was in the bathroom and I didn't know if I really belonged there. I wasn't really sure of myself. And she came over and started chatting with me and she was just so friendly. She's like, oh, I know who you are. And she was chatting to me and I felt like, wow, this is like Miss Bikini Olympia at the time. She was defending her title and she knows who I am. She talked to me like, I'm on the same level as her. So for me, it's like, if I can make someone feel the way she made me feel, I would be like, okay, my job's done. There's a lot to that position. I mean, I would want to travel as much as I can, do a lot of seminars, share my knowledge, my experiences with everyone else, and just be able to meet as many people as you can, because when you travel around the world, there's so many amazing people that you can meet, so many experiences, and experience the different cultures, experience how different people live and how, their federations are, how it differs around the world. It would be cool. So for me, I have all this knowledge that I would love to share with other people to help them, because I know it's hard when you first start. You don't know what you're doing. It's scary to jump into something, especially at the gym, because, there's meathead bodybuilders all around. You don't know what you're doing, especially if you're a female, you don't want to be looked at and stuff. So there's always women's gyms. Those are great to start at. Do some of the classes or something like that. Just anything you can to jump into it. And then you'll start to see little changes and you're like, oh wow, this is me doing this. And you realize that you have the power to change your whole life if you want to. And if you had told me that I would be, runner-up Miss Bikini Olympia when I was, 10, 11, 12, 15, I'd be like, you're crazy, there's no way. So now looking back, it's everything that I did and went through kind of set me up for this. So I feel like I'm very hard on myself for sure, because I'm, self-conscious of a lot of things, but I think that's a good thing in this sport, because I'm constantly striving to be better. If someone is gonna pick something out, I've already picked it out of myself, so I'm already working on that to become a strength. So I think it's a good thing in this industry, to be hard on yourself, to be a little bit self-conscious.